Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what? I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people, right? You want people to care. You want to strike emotions, and I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one
quarter
too.
Pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah, I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice that my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And I'm John.
I guess I'm Easter JD.
No, you can be Christmas too.
Oh, I can be Christmas JD?
Christmas. Yeah.
I'll be the Christmas JD. Can I be the ghost of JD's Christmas past?
We could use a lot more of those these days.
True that.
And given our suggestion from last week, we've decided to continue our exploration of DC films. And of course, that idea came along with Don and Ray from the Gorilla Brain podcast. Unfortunately, Don couldn't make it with us this week, but we do have Ray with us. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well, sir. As always. Oh, it's a pleasure here to be on Superhero Speak, talking about some of the best and worst of the DC universe. When you guys are gonna make me want to talk about something good? Every time I'm on here, I'm talking about Hickman. I'm talking about Superman 3 and 4. Come on, guys, throw me a bone here. I mean, you gave me Batman, but I think we can do it just a little bit better.
Okay, we'll do Steel next week.
Ooh, oh, dude, it's Christmas. Can we avoid some of the punishment? I mean,
Jesus, man, that's like the punishment Stowe Wizard puts me through. They never give me anything good either.
Well, how have you been since we last saw you, Ray? How's things in your life?
Super duper, getting closer to Christmas. The heat is on. You know, it's quite busy this time of year for what I do, and yeah, it's pretty hectic, but we're gonna make it through. We're gonna see old Saint Nick, and then all the kids are gonna be happy, and I'll be miserable, and then New Year's will come, and I can just do it all over again. Yippee me!
Yep, that's how it goes. How about you, JD? What's new in your world?
I had a good weekend. I had a miserable week. I just had like a rough mental health week. Just had a hard time kind of getting going. And then I went away for the weekend. It was actually nice to have a weekend away from the family. I had a big coaching tournament, like the second best tournament in the country. Kids finished fourth. We bumped our national ranking from 38 all the way to 20.
Wow.
So, and I got 2 kids now ranked in the top 20 in the country. We were beating nationally ranked kids over the weekend, and man, my boys look really, really good. So that actually that did a lot for me. So we'll see how it goes. But I had a good weekend. I did not watch Hawkeye, but I did watch Batman.
I didn't watch Hawkeye either, so.
Yes, I forgot we were talking about Hawkeye.
I did, but I completely forgot what happened in it, but we'll get there.
How about you, John?
Well, as I was saying before we really started, like me and a friend are working with an actual trucker who drives around with kittens in his cab, and we're writing a book about one of the cats that he has. And we've got a second draft. We're finalizing the script, and I'm out looking for an artist now. So, haven't finished my book yet, but I'm damn well going to finish this guy's book, apparently.
Well, it's because somebody else had an idea. You just had to help them, where you have a hard time getting your ideas in a straight line.
Well, also, it's much easier for me to write as an 8-year-old, apparently.
Yes.
It's a certain mindset. I don't know. It's just, So, yeah, everything else is, it's Christmas, trying to spoil my nephews and my niece. So.
Sounds good.
How about you?
So, JD.
Yeah.
You and I are now part of a exclusive club.
You got herpes?
chlamydia, right?
I don't have chlamydia. I have herpes.
No, I didn't even think of going that route. Oh my god!
Really? Herpes isn't the first thing that comes to your head like it does mine? Strange.
No.
Yeah. Why ever not? It's so natural.
Why do we have to carry around vaccination cards, but we don't have to carry around cards when we have STDs? You know, that's a pretty good red.
Oh, I don't have the STD herpes. I just have like the face herpes. But I keep Valtrex in the house just in case.
It could be worse. You could have space herpes.
Could have space herpes. I saw you guys made me watch that movie. That was bad.
Just remember when we watch Steel.
So Dave, where's the infection?
Well, the infection's almost gone, but the club of, well, I was vaccinated, but I ended up getting COVID anyway.
Oh, welcome to the team. We meet every 3 weeks and go, what the fuck? So.
This is why I have 120 rolls of toilet paper in my attic, and I'm living off of canned soup.
I don't recall COVID giving you explosive diarrhea, John.
No, I'm just Omicron came around. I'm like, yeah, better stock up on the toilet paper again.
That was madness in 2020 when people thought that, we had this international pandemic that would shut down the world's toilet paper supply.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that would be the thing that would
here. I just thought it was like a bad chest cold because I was real phlegmy. And
are you currently COVID positive, or were you COVID positive? Or are
should we put on our masks?
I haven't gotten a follow-up test yet. So
but so as of right now, you are Schrodinger's COVID?
Yes.
Oh God.
How do you feel?
That's the worst type of COVID.
A lot better. Let's put it that way. I couldn't even get out of bed for a couple days.
That's about what it does.
It's when I caught it, it was like a fatigue like I'd never felt before.
Yes, that's what it is. That's the worst part of it. It's like I can deal with the coughing, I can deal with the mucus, but like just not wanting to get out of bed, not like I've heard lack of appetite. It's not lack of appetite. It's like I just don't have the energy to eat.
I've never been there in my entire life, so I cannot sympathize with that. But I get the tired thing. I didn't have a choice because I had the 5-year-old who also had the COVID, and he never slowed down. No. So my ass had to get up with him and just function. But man, I remember I watered the garden just to get out of the house, and I had to take a nap. I was like, I've never been this tired. And I'm a workout junkie, so I'm like, it sucks, man.
Yeah, the one day my girlfriend picked me up. She's like, you just need to get out of the house for a little bit. Well, I'm just gonna take you out for a couple hours. And I'm like, okay. And like literally we just got a cup of coffee and sat in the car and talk. I went back in the house and I just had to go right to sleep.
Does she have it? You didn't catch it from her, right? You got it from something.
No, and she never got it. So that's the other weird thing.
Has she tested?
She works at a school. She gets tested all the time.
Oh, okay. When we had it, because Andy and I caught it, and then my wife stayed in a hotel for 10 days while we were like, I passed the infection 5. Another nice thing about being vaccinated. My wife tested positive on day 9 after being away from us for 9 days. She was in a hotel, and she's super, super cautious about this stuff.
Yeah.
And it took 9 days from the time that I tested negative or positive for the first time for her to get it. So keep an eye. COVID likes to get you. It'll get you when you're not looking. It's like the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, because my son was feeling sick first.
Oh, so you got it from him. Where do you think he picked it up from?
The only thing we could think of was Thanksgiving. Someone.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Someone there had it. So
that seems to be the rise in cases.
I've never been so happy to be an introvert.
My parents caught it in North Carolina when they went down for my daughter's birthday. They caught it down there. And then so now the daughter has it and my parents have it, and they're fine. But
as long as they don't have long COVID, then as long as they're fine.
Did I tell you my wife when she got it? Because like she had a rough summer. The weeks before she got it, she caught a shingles outbreak. Like she had a shingles out. Like I forget how it went. She had shingles and she was going to the doctor because it was in her eye, and then she wound up getting pink eye with the shingles.
You remember you telling us that?
Yeah, this was a fun summer. And then when she cleared it, she got the COVID, and then the COVID knocked the immune system down, so the shingles came back. So that likes to get you.
And she's still with you.
This is not my fault. This is the fault of Meridian Public Schools. We had our kid we unleashed our kid into the wild for a week, and then we were all COVIDed up.
Oh, come on. Just tell us what gypsy woman you insulted. That's all we need to know.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you had the one from Thinner because I would,
Yeah, I was
lean
gonna
out a
say,
little bit more.
Curse you thinner. Oh, you got me.
Beat him.
Yep.
I'm a Bachman fan. So, Dave, I can tell you're a little bit slower on the draw than usual now that you've mentioned it. Like,
Yeah, normally we've had like 3 segues by now.
right. Dave's like,
No. I've been thinking like, do we segue into Hawkeye? But you didn't watch Hawkeye, so
neither did John.
And
Ray doesn't remember.
I was so intent. I was so intent on watching Batman 89 that
Me too. That was what was on my mind. I'm like, I had to watch Batman, and I was gone all weekend. So yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing though. The episode 3 just ran, but episode 4 is going to run in, was it 9:15, I think, or next week, right? Or
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
it comes out on Wednesdays.
Right. So tomorrow is episode.
Wednesday.
When's episode 4 coming out?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Have you been without regular old school TV for so long you've forgotten how a schedule works?
Yes.
John,
Have you been trapped in your house for so long you forgot what days are?
No. Here's my problem. I never watched the anime One Piece, and I got bored, couldn't find anything else to watch, and I started watching it.
That's a big endeavor.
I know, right? I am 84 episodes in, and I'm looking
Out
at
of 1,000?
the list, and I'm like, I only have 916 more episodes to go.
I'd quit right away because like there's no way I could never find the time to watch 1,000 episodes of a show.
And it's only half done. That's the crazy thing.
I know, right? So
I can't do it.
So yeah, I mean, but the thing is that from what I hear, and from what like literally the Marvel people are saying this, I think it's either episode 4 or 5. I forget. One of them is supposed to blow up Twitter.
5.
That's all they would say.
I just read that article in the shitter before I came on the show. Yeah, episode 5 is supposed to blow up the internet.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well,
So-
if it's what comes out later in these notes, I assume I know it.
Yeah, Mephisto, of course, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like
You know, they have we have been expecting the devil.
oh yeah,
Oh, nice
and
tease
that's
there, JD.
confirmed. That
Dare
is
we?
absolutely confirmed that he's going to play.
It has been that's later in the show, John. But yes,
Nope.
that has in fact been Feige'd.
Mhm.
We've got the Feige verification of that.
Feigeisms.
There's no better than Feige. He's the only one
There
that
is-
can avoid those lawyers from Disney.
He controls the
All right.
layers.
Well, he controls his own contingent, right?
All right. Well, you know what else you can't avoid, John?
herpes.
I think he'd rather have herpes than go to social media madness.
Yes.
Oh,
I have
Shush.
both. It's not fun.
what is this
Either.
going to do to the algorithms for our show? It's like,
Dude, can't avoid the herpes must be the episode title this week.
Or social media herpes.
Social media herpes. That's fair.
not quite space herpes, but pretty close.
All right. So Henry Cavill, we talked about Henry Cavill before. We've gotten more responses on that. Anthony Bourne said, where we said he could play either Bond or Captain Britain.
Hmm.
And Anthony Bourne said, I want a black actor to play James Bond.
We know
I
that's
said-
not going to happen. I mean, we want it, but the way they run it.
Yeah, we talked about that before. They're
Yeah.
trying to keep it to some kind of legacy.
Yeah.
Steve, who's at Yorkie Steve 1, said, wife says yes.
Husband says maybe next time on Swingers. Sorry.
Something about Henry Cavill and the women. And then Marina Zerbert said, I would actually go to a theater to see him play Bond.
No, you would go do it as long as there were good writers for whatever he was on. Yeah, I'd go to see him too.
Let me give you a spoiler about theaters right now. They're awesome because nobody's there.
I know, right?
This is the time to go to the movies. They're empty.
Especially if you
Yeah.
go to a matinee.
Yeah.
Like the last few movies I've been to, there have been maybe at the most was the last one that I saw, the Eternals, I think, or I forget. Anyway, but the last one I went to, there was at most maybe 8 or 9 people in the audience.
Yeah.
The last time I went to the movies was not this past October, but the October before that, and I went and saw a screening of Labyrinth. That was the last time I was at the movie, so I couldn't tell you what it looks like.
Hmm.
Wait a minute. You saw Ghostbusters in the theater, didn't you?
That's right. Yeah, that and there
no.
weren't.
Oh, oh, you're talking to John. I thought you were talking.
Oh,
to
yeah,
me.
but no, did you see it too?
No, I'm waiting
No.
for a rip. I mean, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'll see it eventually. the internet provides, as our good friend Joey DiCarlo likes to say.
He's correct.
I agree.
It always does.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a Resident Evil thing too. Wait.
Yeah. And you're right, Dave. I went to the theater to see Ghostbusters twice. Once myself here, and when I was up in Connecticut. And even in Connecticut, like there were very few people in the audience besides me and my nephews. You know,
I don't know how these movies are making good money. Like I see these reasonably respectable big box office scores, and I'm like, where are these people? I haven't seen them.
Not number of times they're showing it, and number of theaters they're showing it in.
This is an algebra question.
Well, no, yes,
because I can't do it if it is.
If Sue is on a train coming your direction at 50 miles an hour, no. See, the thing is, it's like, you know, if you look, like I just went to see if there were any movies I wanted to see the next couple of weeks. There's nothing there. Ghostbusters is still playing, so like there's not there's not as many movies out as we're like used to. So
yeah, so that's the funny thing. The bigger movies are staying longer, kind of like the old
they
days.
used to. Yeah. Yep.
And they'll have them on multiple screens longer, so more people, it could be spread out and not be overcrowded in the theater. Yep. Of course, we talked about Moon Knight, the first look we got coming to Disney Plus, and the ODPH podcast said, on board with this, curious how it plays out being on Disney Plus show instead of Hulu.
He's got a good point. Maybe it's not going to be quite as violent as it probably should. Although did you guys see the floating video of Oscar Isaac doing some, training hand combat and stuff?
No.
Oh shit! I should have tagged you, David. I usually do. They look cool. Look violent. He was pretending to stab people, so you know.
Well, if you think about it, if they do bring a certain, horned guy in here, after
Star Fox.
Yeah,
I think you said horny.
Yeah. After his stint on Netflix, it's going to be hard to follow up with his usual fighting style, right?
'Twas violent.
And then finally, had to mention this as a big thank you to our number one fan, Marcellus Reagans from the So Wizard podcast. Marky Mark posted this on his Twitter. To my number one podcast of 2021, Superhero Speak. Despite your hot takes on MOT Revelations,
Masters of the Universe Revelations,
and Ghostbusters Afterlife, thank you for being me company on Spotify all year long.
Marky Mark, I just got that. It's been 4 years, and that just settled in on me. By the way, Dave, everyone's saying the second part of Masters of the Universe Revelations is actually really good.
Oh, damn, I forgot it came out. Damn it, there's another thing I have to watch.
I'm hearing nothing but good things now.
I guess I should watch it.
So they actually redeemed themselves after the first part?
I got an email from a person who will go nameless saying, "Did your co-host watch the second part, ellipses?" And I said, "I hasn't come up in conversation. I will ask." So,
I wonder who that could have been.
I have no idea. Like I said, it's under the cloak of night. So maybe check it out. Now that you got the COVID and got nothing better to do, perhaps you should finish that up.
See that, or I've got a really nice long anime that would, keep you busy for a while.
Dude, 1,000 episodes of anime of anything is too much.
Yeah, that's not keeping you busy. That's committing your rest of your life.
That's a job.
It's not just 1,000 episodes. It's that every single person in the show has a horrible backstory. Even the animals have horrible backstory.
Yeah.
So anyway,
how long is each episode?
About 25. Yeah. What Ray said? 24 or 25 minutes, right?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, including credits. Yeah, it's about 25.
Have you seen the whole thing?
Hell no.
Oh, okay.
That's a marriage. That's a very large commitment. That I can't do that.
Well,
sorry.
I have no girlfriend, so
I get the cliff notes. I know what's going on. I'm good, but nope, I ain't watching it. Nope. I do the same thing with the Dragon Ball Super manga. Like, I'm not buying it, but I know what's going on.
See, all right. I've seen all of Dragon Ball. I've seen all of Naruto. I have to finish the Holy Trinity and do One Piece. I mean,
I have nothing to contribute to this conversation.
Yeah. Naruto is the Holy Trinity of what?
Not Naruto.
Awfully voiced anime
of like the biggest animes. Now of the biggest, most mainstream animes. Dragon Ball, Naruto.
The last maybe 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, you could. There's also things for Sailor Moon and Macross and you name it. But
I hate to change the topic. This didn't make our list today. But you guys hear about George Perez?
No, what happened? What's wrong with him now?
Pancreatic cancer, 6 months to
God
live.
damn it, man.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm. And I announced it today.
Man, that guy's got a. It's just one thing after another with this poor guy, man.
I know. He's
the nicest person, one of the nicest.
Oh yeah,
we've met him, right?
Yeah, I've met him.
We've talked to him
a couple times. I don't know if I've ever interviewed him for the show, but I've talked to him at cons quite a few times.
God damn it!
Yeah, bummer.
It wasn't that long ago he retired.
No, maybe a year, because he lost depth. He lost the eye, and the depth perception was all gone. I want to say it was like a year or so ago.
Yeah.
Pancreatic cancer.
Like right around when COVID hit, I think is when all that went down with his eyesight and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So
about a year and a half. Okay, so now this it's pretty shitty, man.
Way to bring the show down.
That's what I do. That's what I do. I killed the show.
Well, since
we're a comic podcast. I mean, we can't not talk about it.
That's
you
true.
know.
Since JD brought the show down, here's our good friend D Square to tell you how you can follow us on social media and be part of social media madness. And maybe you can make us happy again.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of social media madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, you can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often, because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them at @stars_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Cult 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for #GWAllStars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
Hearing D-Square's voice makes you happy.
Thanks for that, Don. Don't forget to check out the Omega Level Nerds podcast, available on YouTube and wherever podcasts are available. And Ray, while you're here, why don't you tell the people where they can find the Gorilla Brain podcast?
The Gorilla Brain podcast can be found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you catch a podcast. Let's see. I recently just did an episode on Resident Evil. That was a lot of fun doing the commentary thing. I think it's kind of my shtick now. I kind of really enjoy doing that. So I'm going to keep doing that. You can catch me on Twitter at Gorilla Brain Pod, and you can catch me on Instagram at Gorilla Brain Podcast, on Twitch at 8-Bit Ray. You can also catch me on YouTube. Funny enough, I'm trying to do both, 8-Bit Ray. So yeah, get at me and support small streamers and content creators. Back to you, Dave. Did I do the Mark Ellis right? Did I do the Mark Ellis right?
I think so. Yeah.
He's our biggest fan.
Our? I guess you're part of the team now, so welcome aboard.
Hey.
Nice.
All right. Well, on that note, boys and girls, we'll take our first commercial break and we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
After these messages.
So I did that once during a commercial break, and John was like, "Oh, that's kind of funny," and I'm like, "This is proof that you never listened to the show."
All right, boys and girls, we're back and got a few things to talk about. The first is the big one. It has been announced that Tom Holland is not going anywhere anytime soon as Spider-Man.
Fuck!
Yay! Balance it out.
He's
balance.
Can we get rid of? Can we just get Andrew Garfield back or Tobey Maguire permanently?
Andrew Garfield?
I don't care.
Maguire's like 40.
Anybody but Tom Holland, please.
Really?
Yeah, I don't care. Go get the Japanese Spider-Man. I don't care. Get me anybody but Holland.
They really should do something with the Japanese Spider-Man. That would be cool. Like in this Across the Spider-Verse, which by the way, that trailer premiered this week. Not bad. That would be cool if they brought the Japanese Spider-Man in. Just saying that to manifest it into existence.
Get the guy who played Spider-Man in the Electric Company in the 70s.
Yeah, so
wasn't that Morgan Freeman?
No, it couldn't be.
I'm kidding. Morgan Freeman was on the Electric Company though.
It was Bill Murray.
Yeah, I think it was Bill Murray.
No,
I think there's something stupid like that. Bill Murray was something in some kid's show. I have to look this up now. Continue.
Is it Amy Pascal?
Yes.
Yeah, she said wants to do 3 more. She has planned 3 more Marvel, Sony, Spider-Man movies and MCU movies. So I'm like, does that mean that his story doesn't end at No Way Home? But
no, it's going to end at Maximum Carnage when they bring Venom, Carnage, and Shriek and everybody else back over here from the Sony verse, and then we get this big giant universe that no one asked for, and then Jared Leto's going to pop up as Morbius and ruin my life, and then just it's going to be terrible.
That's probably going to happen.
He said
that he's going to ruin his life.
I posted that on Twitter the other day. He said, now that, the multiverse is open, anything is possible. No, I don't want it to be possible.
No, your Joker's not possible. just like Danny Rand isn't coming back. I mean, there are certain things that are just not going to happen.
If it all boils into a Midnight Suns movie, like if Morbius leads to Ghost Rider and Blade, and then we get a Midnight Suns movie, I'm all about it. But
we know Blade is in because his voice was the last thing you hear in the Eternals movie.
Yeah, Blade's in. We had Ronnie Race in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
Yeah.
And then we got Morbius, Jared Leto. So, yeah, we're pretty close to a Midnight Suns movie. Let's hope. Fingers crossed.
Do you think Jared Leto would be better as Morbius, though, than he was as Joker?
Yes.
Couldn't be worse.
Yep.
Yeah,
nah,
it's true.
Could not be worse at all.
True that.
I'm jiggy.
So obviously Ray is not excited about.
Welcome to 1993 on the podcast.
So obviously Ray is not excited for 3 more Tom Holland movies.
No,
I am.
I'm looking forward to it.
I was about to say, are you guys excited? Okay.
I like the kids.
So 3 against 1.
The movies are fine. Tom Holland, I just want to headbutt his fucking face. I don't like him. I don't like his Peter Parker. I don't like his Spider-Man. I don't like his voice. Although he can dance his ass off in that lip sync battle he did.
That's true.
That's
true.
Yeah, he really.
And he's dating Zendaya too. So
that is also true.
Wow,
good on him.
And then he's doing Uncharted. He's got Uncharted coming out, and he's gonna fuck that up for me too.
No, that's not. Uncharted. I don't know about that movie. Like that won't be his fault.
Yes, it will.
I think that's going to be the script and the direction.
Wait, who made that movie? Was it Sony?
I think
Universal.
So. Is it Universal? Okay.
Is it Universal?
So.
Yeah.
Well, then I have a little bit more faith then, but I still don't like Tom Holland. I just don't like his Spider-Man.
Or is it? It might be Sony.
Sony.
Yeah.
Is it so?
Well, yeah, because that's who's got Tom's contracts now, right? Like,
it's not the 40s. You aren't locked to a studio for life.
I know, but apparently, like, if anybody could break out of a studio, it would be him, and yet he seems to be like all over them. Although, I would also put forth that the only reason we're getting 3 more Spider-Man movies with him in it is because of Tom Holland, because Sony would screw that up somehow.
Yeah.
Either that, or it's just, this is making us a lot of money. We like money. We should make more money. How about we keep doing the thing that's making us money?
So he did recently come out and say he didn't see himself playing Spider-Man in his 30s.
Good. Bye.
He's getting close. Once we get a couple more years, so we should get 3 more movies, and then he's done. And Sony will screw it up, and we'll find another Spider-Man.
Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Oh, God, that sticks in my head. I hate that line. It's the worst line in the entire MCU. I hate it. Erase it.
Okay, we are getting all views today.
I like the hot takes. We don't get hot takes like this hot. I dig it.
Why you bring me on.
I dig it. It's different.
Just a natural angry person.
I'm angry too, but I can't. I'm trying to see the point of view. I'm not sure. Well, yeah, I'm old. I mean, it's hard for me to hear.
You're the get off my lawn angry.
Yes, he is.
I'm the yell at a cloud angry.
Yes.
You're the I'm gonna watch 1,000 episodes of One Piece angry.
No, that's just crazy. That's not angry. After I finish and realize how much of my life I wasted.
Hand in hand.
It's not a waste if you enjoyed it. If you're miserable watching it, then that's a different story.
True this.
Well, you're definitely going to get franchise fatigue. You're going to have to take a break. So that's going to further extend the time period that you have to watch One Piece. So I set a goal. I'm going to watch One Piece. It's going to take a whole year. It's going to take about 2 because you're going to have to take breaks in between or you're going to get burnout.
Any palate cleansers like, Sailor Moon or something. But, the devil's in the details. Dave.
All right. Well, and then the other thing before we get to the devil was the Across the Spider-Verse trailer was released, or teaser.
And it's picking up right where it left off.
Huh?
It's picking up right where it left off. The first movie. It's like
Not right
picking up
where-
right there.
No, it's not. It's actually, if you look at the two Miles has aged. It's been like a year.
Yes.
I thought he looked a little bit different. He had that hiccup effect.
Puberty.
Like from the How to Train Your Dragon things. For each movie, he aged a lot more. But I don't know. I skipped through it pretty quickly, and it was you ended with the exact same scene as it started with the exact same scene as the first movie ended.
It did.
So, but
and we also get Miguel O'Hara, the Spider-Man of 2099.
That's the best part.
I agree.
That was the after credit scene of the first one, right?
Loved it.
Yeah.
It looks like we're bringing him in. I love that character, so I'm super fired up for it.
That will be cool.
Yeah. So that's all we know so far is Spider-Man.
Did anybody actually read the 2099 comics?
I read that one. I was 12. I didn't know any better.
So they had Doom 2099, they had Venom 2099, they had
Ghost Rider,
X-Men, Ghost Rider, Punisher.
And they had an original book called Ravage that written by Stan Lee that nobody actually read that one.
Was that the one where Cyclops was in the future?
No, this was a completely original character that they just stuck there as a marketing gimmick. It didn't work. They aren't the Peter David Rick Leonardi Spider-Man 29 stuff is actually pretty fun. And I think it's aged decently for mid-90s, for early 90s material, because Peter David's awesome. But yeah, I enjoyed the character. I enjoyed the premise.
There was also a Hulk 2099.
There was.
But I don't know anybody that actually read them. Like I collected the Doom 2099 comics as a kid because I love Dr. Doom, but I don't remember any story in particular that blew my mind. They were just there.
That was comics in the early 90s, though. Like the stories, you really don't go for the stories. You go for everything else but the stories.
Yeah.
You go for the fancy foil covers and the sparkles and I remember this stupid comic. What was it called? Eclipso that had a stupid gem.
Oh yeah, it had a gem in it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That you couldn't put that thing in a bagging board to save your life because it would pop through. It's terrible.
Talk about shitty storylines. That one was bad.
But of all the 2099 characters, I think Miguel O'Hara's the only one that's been used over and over again.
Because he's the only good one.
Yeah.
That would be why.
He's the only one that was halfway decently written. And I think he had the longest run because X-Men 2099, that was cut. Doom 2099 ends in 24 comics, I believe it is. Hulk ends in 8. And I think, and Punisher went maybe 15. It was not meant for this world.
This is also the beginning of the Image Revolution stuff when they're like dominating the charts and Marvel's just cranking shit out, right? It's just cranking like they got to keep making widgets, and that's really what comics felt like in this era.
So
definitely,
am I the only one who's like waiting for something to drop that tells us that the Spider-Verse stuff is going to tie in with the MCU somehow?
I don't see how.
Why not? The multiverse is open.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. Why can't?
That's what it is. Every Spider-Man from the Spider-Verse is in No Way Home. There you go. There's your spoiler. Every one of them, even Spider-Pig. Yep.
It would be fun if we did get a Miles or a Spider-Ham show up. I would be fine with that.
That would be good. Yeah.
We had Miles, didn't we? Didn't we have Miles in the second one?
His uncle, right?
We had his uncle.
Uncle.
Yeah. Donald Glover played his uncle, the future Prowler.
Yeah.
I forgot about that, by the way.
So did I. And I watched it once.
What do you think, Dave? You looking forward to this movie?
Yes.
Oh, dynamite dropping.
I have to redeem myself for the last one.
What do you mean?
Remember, I said I liked it, but I don't like Spider-Gwen, so people got on my case about that.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes.
I'll take Spider-Gwen over Gwenpool any day.
Amen, brother. I agree 100%. Gwenpool is everything Dave claims Spider-Gwen is.
Gwenpool?
Like Gwenpool is is super egregious.
Gwenpool?
Deadpool with Gwen Stacy, with a crazy Gwen Stacy.
Is that actually a thing? That's not just a cosplay?
No, that is a thing.
Oh my God. Why?
That exists and has existed for probably 5-6 years now.
Why?
Wait, why do you think?
To sell books.
Yes.
Did it actually sell?
No.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so weird.
So, it's not weird. Something that we all know is coming, and it's been confirmed by the great Kevin Feige that Charlie Cox will be returning as Daredevil to the MCU.
The shock.
That opens the door for other stuff.
But where and when is yet to be seen. So,
does this mean I get a season 3 of Iron Fist?
No.
Did we get a season 2 of Iron Fist?
Yeah.
Did I erase that from my memory? I think I did.
I think most people did. In fact, I think reality's trying to erase reality.
I Men in Blacked it from my memory. I was like, I don't remember
when
a
they
thing.
did Defenders and they completely botched it, but it had Sigourney Weaver, and you were like, yay.
Do you remember when they gave us a giant dragon, but they were like, nah, it's just the bones?
That's not Fing Fang Foom.
I remember being like, I was promised a dragon.
And then Danny had the guns at the end of season 2.
I have no memory of this whatsoever.
Yes, yeah, he had the guns, and what's her name had a sword, and it was just like, what is even happening? And then it ends.
Yeah, Colleen had the Iron Fist power, and Danny had the guns and could use.
I remember Luke Cage season 2. It ends with Luke Cage taking over for Cottonmouth, and now he's the villain, and now he's in charge of the crime stuff. And then it ended, and we're like, oh,
yeah,
well, that's not.
Do a Luke Cage.
There was season 2. There was season 2 of Luke Cage that I remember because it was actually pretty good.
Yes, and it left it at a place where like you need a season 3.
Right, and then they said, no, Jeff Loeb, you're done with this job. No more TV for you.
Well,
and then we've been hanging here since like 2015.
Who was the chick that got the show? I can never remember her name.
What's that?
Huh?
The chick that got the show.
Oh, Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones. Did that get a season 2?
That did get a season 2.
That has season 3.
That got a season 3?
I thought didn't it have a season 3? I thought it had a season 3.
Man, all I'm gonna say is the second and third seasons of all these shows except Daredevil do nothing to stick out in the memory. Apparently,
well, see, that's the thing, though. Yeah, she had 3 seasons too.
I have no memory of season 3.
I don't know. I think she was good as Jessica Jones, though.
She was.
And with Marvel's writers, they could do something with that. They can definitely do something with Daredevil. They should bring Punisher back. Mike Coulter has already said he's not going to come back as Luke Cage, I think.
Why? What, was he not happy? He's really good.
Idea. Oh yeah, no, he'd be perfect. Everybody can come back except Iron Fist.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Because even with good writing, I don't think they could make him a good character.
What started out as a joke has now devolved into there are seasons of shows I haven't seen.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't remember season 2 of Iron Fist. I don't remember season 3 of Jessica Jones. I have zero memory of that.
Is there a season 2 of Defenders? I need to know.
No.
Oh,
because that fell. I don't know. It wasn't that bad, but
it wasn't that bad, but it did fall flat a little bit.
It did give us the Iron Fist and was it the Iron Fist and Luke Cage, right? And Power Man that we expected.
That could have worked. We did get Elektra.
Yeah.
But the pacing for that show was just completely off the rails. Like it would like go 100 miles an hour and then completely stop. And then they go 100 miles an hour and then stop. And
then they sit in the restaurant.
Yeah, the restaurant episodes. It's like that scene in It where they get all the fortune cookies, but not as interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. At least we know that. I mean, Charlie Cox is coming back. Vincent D'Onofrio. I mean,
no, I'm not watching.
He's gonna be in Hawkeye.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say because I haven't seen the show, but I have heard. And I'm sounding like John doing this right now, but I'll embrace it. That Maya Lopez Echo. There's like they're kind of hinting around that her uncle is the Kingpin, which is comics accurate.
Well, one of the scenes they've already showed is some large guy in a white suit walking towards her, and they only show the bottom half, and it sounded a lot like Vincent D'Onofrio.
Well, he's so great. He was so great as Kingpin that whatever makes that happen again, I'm on board for.
Oh yeah,
like those two were like him and Charlie Cox were absolutely perfect. That if nothing else good came from Marvel TV, we got that.
Yeah, their end fight scene in season 1 was great.
It was great.
It was a great and a total payout. I loved it.
I loved the 3 seasons of Daredevil. I thought they were really good.
There were 3. No, I'm kidding. I know.
That one I remember 3 seasons.
Now you bring those 2 into the MCU. Do you retell the origins or you just accept?
No, you put the shows on Disney Plus and they're all there. That's the genius of it all.
Yeah,
you can't.
It's just too violent for Disney.
No, we can put it. There's
Ultra-violent,
plenty. There's plenty of
ultra-violent.
violent stuff to
Put
Just
on
put,
Hulu.
just put Iron Fist on Disney Plus.
Yeah, because that wasn't really violent. The only violence to that was your brain.
Yep.
I think there's got to be some violent TV that's on some of the Disney Plus stuff.
No, they'll
right?
toss it on Hulu. They'll do
Yeah,
what they
toss
did
it
with
on Hulu.
MODOK and just toss it. That's why they have Deadpool streaming on Hulu and not on Disney Plus.
Well, streaming Hulu.
Yeah, anything that's ultra violent or just not up to their standards or whatever, they're just going to toss it on Hulu. They own it. Why not?
I don't think you have to do the origin of Daredevil again because, like, I think everybody knows who's watching it. Like, it's not going to be like he shows them someone's like, "Who's that? Who's that guy? What's going on?" You know.
Well, with everything going on with the TVA and the multiverse and everything, you could just say, and with what's happening in Multiverse of Madness and No Way Home, you could just say that their universe is now part of ours.
But John, that's the thing, though, is that the Marvel TV universe was supposed to be the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, no, and it was initially tied. I mean,
Right,
the
and
very
then-
first scene of Jessica Jones was here's an apartment, and it wasn't affected by the
Daredevil 2. They talked about the post event. I forget what they called it, the incident or something like that.
Yeah.
They talked about the invasion. Like this all was supposed to be in the same universe. Then Feige's like, "Get Jeff Loeb out of here. I don't want to talk to this person." So
Yeah, but they never name drop in
they
Daredevil.
never did name drop. It was always like like tiptoeing around things.
Yeah, the incident and news articles up on the wall and things that happen in New York and so.
Yeah, it's never out and out stated, but it's supposed to be.
But they did mention the Chitauri by name because those were the
Did they?
weapons that those were in Luke Cage season 2. Those were the weapons they were using to penetrate.
You're right.
him.
You're 100% right. Those were the Cherry weapons. I forgot about that. Huh.
And yeah, I mean, it could be that they were sold to him by Vulture's crew. So
It all works
Yeah.
together.
It's all connected.
There you go.
Hey, Dave's still here. Hey, buddy.
Am I?
it's okay. Dave's not feeling well.
We are getting quarter speed Dave today.
Yeah, but that's fine.
All
That's what his
right.
girlfriend said. Keep going.
Well, that's all the news we have to talk about. So we're going to take our last commercial break and we'll be right back with our main topic.
If she's still coming over when you got the COVID, she's a keeper.
That's dedication.
Yes.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
How to determine if it's true love.
My wife cleans my cauliflower ears because they don't bend, right? They just, we can't really see. See, they don't really bend and stuff gets stuck in them. And so she cleans my ears.
Wow.
True love.
True love.
Normally, you got to pay for things like that.
Right?
All right, everyone, we're back. We're here to talk about our main topic of the evening.
Beep.
And that is, of course, is the phenomenon that was Batman 89. And I'm going to start off with, do you remember when this movie came out?
Vividly.
Yeah, I was 4 years old. I remember everything.
God, I'm old.
I was 9 and I remember like basing my summer around it.
I remember standing in line at the Naugatuck Valley Mall in Waterbury, Connecticut. That mall does no longer exists. In fact, they razed it to the ground and built like offices or something on top of it decades ago. but I remember it's the first movie I remember where there were very long lines and like it was packed and you had to wait for like 2 hours in line to get in.
Yeah, that's accurate. I remember my dad taking my brother and I to the mall. Same thing, mall. And June 23rd, 89, I'll never forget that. And it was like, there was a feeling in the theater that as a kid, I'd never experienced that kind of an anticipation or that kind of energy in a place before, to the point, like I remember the screen goes, when the trailer ends and like, you hear that dark, slightly dark, that's like darker Warner Brothers logo and the dun, and the crowd, I remember this vividly. The crowd literally erupted in applause before the movie even started.
Yeah. And the only movie I remember that kind of feeling from before Batman was Superman, but yeah, Danny Elfman did the score. It was Elfman, right? Yeah. And memorable score. Like that's yet another composer where if you hear any of his work, you probably remember the movies you saw it from. And they use that same score in Batman the Animated Series, so it's pretty much ingrained in nerd culture and nerd memory. So
I mean, it's funny because I was 15, a comic book nerd, and my friends were comic book nerds. So like we were the target audience. But yet it was weird because we're excited for this movie and we've been talking about it. And of course, we're all worried about Michael Keaton and blah, blah, blah. But we're like, also like, regular people are talking about this movie. It's weird, you know? And, you know, they're talking about it on the news and all this stuff. Like, we knew it was something more than just a movie. And then we saw it. And yeah, it was the best portrayal of Batman in cinema up to that point.
Well, I mean, Batman and Robin hadn't been made yet, you know?
No, what I'm saying, like, 'cause that's the other thing, like, because people look back on it and they're like, oh, it's kind of hokey. I'm like, yeah, but what we had before that was Adam West.
Yeah. You know, I'll say this right now. I think all art should be viewed in the context in which it was created, right? And in 1989, this was as serious as a comic book movie kind of got. Like, if you look at the tone of action movies in general in the 1980s, they're all very kind of tongue-in-cheek. And this one's far less tongue-in-cheek than like your average Arnold movie goes, you know?
Can I just say that this was way better than I remember? And I've been spending all day trying to think of why. And the only thing I can come up with is that the later movies got so bad that it all got tangled up in my brain as to how hokey everything was. But I'm watching this movie is like way better than I remember. Like, you know, it stands up pretty well. There's not a very subtle use of what they call Dutch angles or.
Well, Burton doesn't do that. Burton doesn't cant his angles very much. You know, right. It's more about ambiance and atmosphere.
Right. And you know, whereas the later ones are like, you know, it's all like, you know, all skewed and everything. And
because Schumacher does like his Dutch angles and his neons. You know, the four of these movies two of these four movies are very different, you know?
Yeah.
They don't have the same feel at all.
But this one took its time. I mean, the characters were given time to breathe. They did stuff outside of, you know, the plot didn't meander, but it progressed slowly. It gave you time to, you know, listen and watch the characters and learn who the characters were. Like, unlike the later movies where it was just all glitz and explosions and, you know, from action to action to action. So it's like this. I was really surprised at how much I still like this one.
Me too. I like it.
There's an aspect of this movie that a lot of people I've never heard people talk about. It's actually a very different take on Bruce Wayne and I'm not talking about Michael Keaton's absent-mindedness of him being like acting stupid to like whatever. It's the public doesn't know who he is.
Yeah. Bruce Wayne's not a playboy. He's very much a Howard Hughes, right?
Yes.
He's more like aloof and like, you know, just kind of set off. Whereas like, you know, like Warren Buffett as opposed to Elon Musk. If we're talking billionaires, you know?
Yeah. Right. But I mean, he's the son of the, you know, the Waynes, and like he's always famous. Even in the comics, you know, but like, this
like they didn't know his parents, like you were saying, they didn't know his parents had been murdered, right? Like, but that's always in the consciousness of the other continuities. It's just
right. And I also think they did that on purpose for the story, so Vicky Vale can learn about him.
It's a good way to reveal the origin without starting with the origin. Well, this is also a Burton movie, right? So every Burton movie, the protagonist is going to be an outsider, right? A guy who doesn't quite fit into the world. And even with a billionaire superhero, the best way to do it is to be a guy who's ostracized, you know, who doesn't really fit. And that's this Bruce Wayne. Like I said, he is aloof, he is awkward, even though he's, you know, Michael Keaton, but he still kind of doesn't fit in his own skin. Right. This is definitely Tim Burton's Batman. And that's one of the ways you really feel it. But we never had a Batman slept upside down either until this.
It's so not as Tim Burton as you expect, though, you know?
No, because this is Tim Burton becoming Tim Burton, right?
Yeah.
Batman Returns is really Tim Burton's Batman.
Yes.
This is like Tim Burton still finding himself as a director. This is his third feature, right? And his first time really working with studio money. So this is Tim Burton playing nice, you know?
I mean, it still had its Tim Burton.
Oh, it did. It's still a Tim Burton film, clearly, but it's definitely Tim Burton playing nice with the studio thing and not just being Tim Burton.
Right.
I'm all for avant-garde, but if he played nice with the studios, just a little bit, not completely, but if he played just a little bit, like, he would be so much bigger than he is.
What do you mean?
he would have more range. I mean,
what do you mean?
I get like, Tim, if you give Tim Burton a wheelbarrow full of money and say go for it, you will get stuff like Corpse Bride, and
you can also get stuff like Mars Attacks.
Yes, right, exactly. I mean, but the thing, if you just played a little bit nicer, I mean, if this is what it is for him to play, play nice with a studio or something, or with other writers or whatever, mm-hmm. I mean, man, this I would go see everything. I mean, this again, like I'm floored at how different this is than my actual memory. And it's not because I'm old, my memory's going.
Very nice, because they didn't even want Michael Keaton as Batman.
No, this is as nice as Tim Burton plays it, is what I'm saying.
Well, he had to fight. He had to fight to get Keaton in.
Correct,
and he was right.
Stigma from Beetlejuice, being somewhat psychotic.
And he was also Mr. Mom, which was the public consciousness of him. Like, that's his biggest movie in 1989. His biggest film to date is Mr. Mom, and that was what people thought about it.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have Jack Nicholson giving us
Jack Nicholson.
But that's why you cast Jack Nicholson, right? Yeah. Same reason you casted Gene Hackman as Luthor. Like, Gene Hackman is Luthor's Gene Hackman, right? It's Gene Hackman chewing on some scenery. This is Jack Nicholson. It's like when you put Jack Nicholson in The Shining. It's the reason Stephen King hates The Shining. It's nothing to do with Kubrick's actual film. It's all Jack Nicholson.
King still badmouths Kubrick, even in the back of Dr. Sleep in the notes, he's still bashing him.
Wow.
Like, dude, it's been like 40 years. Let it go.
But that's like The Shining is like probably one of his most personal works, because Jack Torrance is basically King. Like, it's him working through his issues. Like Jack Torrance is Stephen King on a really bad day, and like his whole thing was in King's The Shining. This is what you come to this Batman podcast, right? For Stephen King analysis. In King's Shining, Jack is possessed by the house. Jack is a good guy he wants to be a good person, but he hasn't been, right? And the ghosts of the house literally push him to the dark side. When you put Jack Nicholson in this movie, you're getting Jack Nicholson. Like, he's from the opening credits, you're like, this is a bad dude. And the house like furthers him along. And the house might not even be alive in this movie. It might all be Jack being crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're very different. They're very different. It's the same material with completely different takes on it.
Well, and we got a origin story for Joker. Yet another one of the first ones, I guess.
Probably the first one since the Red Hood thing.
I always like what Joker said in that Legends of the Dark Knight 50, the one with the Cheshire Cat on the cover and all. He said, I don't like origins. I like it to be multiple choice.
Malin Moore. It's one of the great line.
Yeah. I just prefer that, like, I get to pick what I want to be. Do I want it to be Jack Frost, whatever his name was? I can't remember his name.
Jack Napier.
Jack. Why did I say Jack Frost? What? Disney.
No, it's winter.
Movies lately. Yeah.
Wait, wasn't Jack Frost a Michael Keaton movie?
Yes. Yes, it was.
You're right.
And it was also one of the best horror movies ever.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Where Shannon Elizabeth gets raped in the shower by a snowman with a carrot dick. Okay, moving on.
This is accurate.
Batman 89. Batman 89.
Well, let's see who else was in there. Billy D. Williams was in there, being Billy D. Williams.
The real shame of that is that Billy D. took that role knowing that he would be Two-Face, and he never got the chance to be Two-Face. They're doing that in the Batman 89 comic right now, and I haven't read it, but I'm looking forward to it going to the app so I can catch up on it, because I love the idea. Like, I think he would have been awesome as a Two-Face.
Yeah, he was signed on for Batman Returns to be Two-Face, isn't that right?
Yes, and the story is that the Max Schreck character from Batman Returns was initially Harvey Dent, and then things, film studio stuff, and then we wound up with Christopher Walken, who was in a Stephen King adaptation of The Dead Zone.
Well, at least then you got to see Christopher Walken try to out-carry Jim Carrey, so...
Whoa. Let's never compare Christopher Walken to Jim Carrey. No. Tommy Lee Jones. You're thinking Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah, sorry. Oh, that's right. Christopher Walken was the other guy. All right.
He was Max Schreck.
I'll have to rewatch those again. Right.
Don't worry, John.
Catwoman.
Don't worry, John. We're going to.
Yeah. Oh no.
Because Returns is better than 89.
That's a bold statement, and I have not watched Returns in a while, so I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna want to watch it with some new eyes. Having you say that,
I am very interested to see if that one is better than what I remember too.
And it's a Christmas movie, so
it is a Christmas movie.
Oh wait, but that has the penguin, right?
That does have the penguin.
Oh no, it's not. It's just as bad as I remember.
Dude, it's nothing but Danny DeVito cracking dirty jokes. In a movie for 12-year-olds
and biting somebody's nose off, if I remember,
and biting a lot of fish.
Yeah.
That is a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah,
exactly.
Through and through.
Flipper trick
with the giant emperor penguins.
That is Tim Burton, a giant rubber ducky and some emperor penguins with some rockets.
Mm-hmm. It would have lost nothing if it was animated.
It's a Tim Burton movie, and Batman Returns in the first 30 seconds of the movie.
100%. When you see Paul Rubens,
Paul Rubens, once you see him drinking the wine at the glass on Christmas Day, man, it's like Edward Scissorhands made it into Batman. It's
absolutely. That is this is a Tim Burton film. That is like the Tim Burton film.
Watch it again, John. Watch it again.
Well, apparently we're going to be forced to. So. But we haven't mentioned Kim Basinger. So
who would?
Who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't?
I love her performance in 8 Mile.
I've never seen that movie.
Huh.
She was good. She was a good slut. Trailer Park Trash. She was very good at her role.
I think she was good. She was good in
the
this
first time. The first time you see her in 8 Mile, she's riding a dick in the darkness, and you're like, Kim Basinger. That's my Batman's girlfriend right there.
I have seen 9.5 Weeks, so I get where you're coming from. That's what it's changing.
But I mean, it was Vicky Vale existed in the comics before this, right?
Yeah, Vicky Vale. Vicky existed in like what 2 comics up until that point.
She was a character that she's a character in the 40s, and she's also part of the second Batman serial from 49. So she does, but she is one of those who took a long extended break from the comics.
Right.
Like in the initial drafts, she's Silver St. Cloud, who was the love interest in I want to say the Englehart era of Batman. So early 80s.
Sounds better.
Yeah. To Wikipedia, John.
So,
I'm looking up something else actually.
I was about to say, so it was easier, and that way they can make her more generic.
Are you looking up for the Kim Basinger 8 Mile video?
I'll try to refocus, Dave. Narratively speaking, it's also, if you make her a journalist, you get to it's very easy to play the Lois Lane trope and like use the journalistic stuff to kind of investigate both Batman and Joker and Gotham, and it gives you some opportunities that a female, she's not really a protagonist, but a side character with just a normal job gives you,
Right.
Because there's a natural inquisitiveness with the character that has them asking why.
But I think that Vicky Vale was nothing more than connective tissue in the movie. But
I agree with that. She's not given much to do other than help string scenes together.
She helps flesh out the origin of Batman because she goes and sees Bruce put the roses on the ground and all that, and then you have her connection to the Joker, who is then connected to Batman, and then there's like that little love triangle, if you want to call it that. And then we have our end scene in the movie, and she's just connective tissue. That's all.
Yeah, you don't really get to know much about her as a character. She merely exists as, like you said. I think connective tissue is a great way you described it. Like she's just there to kind of link the movie together and bring these characters together because she's hot. Really, I mean that's really the only reason why.
What do we know about her? She's a photographer.
That's it.
Her work, and Knox is the writer, so she's not even a writer. She's just a photographer.
Oh, and she's heavier than 108 pounds.
That is a great line. That is a great line.
Wait, a little more than 108.
I by the way, I just remember like Robert Wool, who plays Alexander Knox.
Arliss.
He was in the CW Crisis on Infinite Earths.
What?
As his character
as Alexander Knox.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
That is awesome. I forgot about that, John. Nice call.
What's he been doing between?
I think he's got a podcast actually.
Oh, okay.
I really appreciated the comedy that he put into it, though.
Yeah, and I think it's, if you've ever seen his act, like a stand-up act, you could tell a lot of he's improving a lot of stuff, and they're just keeping it because he's funny.
Well, there's like a lot of dark tones in Batman.
Huge, and he does
kind of lifts the scene a little bit.
Yes, he does a good job of something that Marvel would later used on is this idea of bringing levity to really serious situations. And the Knox character, the Knox character really, it kind of acts as us a little bit as the audience. He's kind of cracking wise at this and like really kind of helps us ease into this super bizarre world. And I think it's a necessary character in this whole thing. I think Robert Wuhl's kind of unsung in this movie. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of acted in the very end when the gas is going off from the balloons. He had the right idea. Grab something, cover your face, grab a bat, and fight everybody off because everybody's going to be crazed.
Alexander Knox was pro-mask before it was necessary.
That's right.
And one of the scenes that actually got me was during that balloon scene. Bob the Goon, played by Tracy Walter, like Joker, just give me a gun. Okay, thanks, and just shoots the guy who's been like the most loyal to him the whole time.
Bob, gun.
Yep.
Bang. Yeah. Great scene.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not something you like. Yeah, again, 1989. Like, I thought this was going to be weird and wacky and campy.
Oh, it was.
It was
in some places. Yeah,
it is weird.
Very little though.
But it is weird and campy, but only because the stuff that's come after it has been so like super serious for so long, especially in Batman. So you look back on it, it feels a little campy. But in 1989. This was considered the serious take on Batman because, like John says, you're coming off Adam West, and a lot of people really expected Bing Bang Zoom, right? And there are people that were confused when that wasn't what we got.
Yep.
But it still holds up. I mean, it's still better than some of the stuff. I mean, hey, it's still better than the Russian Family and Flash laying on top of Wonder Woman. Like,
yes, it's better than Justice League.
It's just better than Joss Whedon's stuff.
It's better than I'll give you that. Better than Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
Oh, well, yes.
Which would have been the last
before
right before 2 years before it.
2 years before. It feels like a decade when watching these two movies back to back. Like it feels like a long time has passed between those two movies. And it's only 2 years.
Wow.
What? Batman Returns or
no, this one, Superman 4 and this Batman movie.
Oh, I'm way off.
Yeah, 87 and 89.
Maybe Warner Brothers had a lot more faith in Batman than Superman at that point.
Warner Brothers didn't have it at that time. Remember, Warner Brothers didn't have, like, they had a distribution deal only with Superman at that point because the Salkinds bought it in 74. And then Golden Globus bought it from the Salkinds. And then Warner's like, give us this back. We can make money. And then they spent a lot of money developing Superman movies that never got made.
Yep.
A lot of money.
Of money.
$100 million.
Do you think that the Batman 89 was heavily inspired by, say, Dark Knight Returns, kind of that darker, edgier?
I do. Specifically in, like, you remember Dark Knight Returns, we have a lot of the talking heads, right? There's a lot of that in this movie, right? There's elements. It's not like taken from it, but you can tell there's some inspiration. Like, I don't think Frank Miller and Tim Burton would hang out well. Like, I don't think those are people that would like, I don't think they'd have like, I don't think they would like click, but I do think there's definitely some like tonal inspirations from Dark Knight Returns, right? But that's like it. Like, I don't think they're like lifting anything from them. Not as much as you'd figure, because Dark Knight Returns was like the Bible by 1989 standards. Like, this feels more like it's inspired by the Denny O'Neil, Marshall Rogers, Steve Englehart stuff to me.
Yeah.
There was one other thing. Jerry Hall played Alicia in this, and I got the slightest hint of like, I wondered for a second if maybe this was maybe a slight inspiration for Harley Quinn down the line somehow. I mean, she didn't do anything, but it was like, just kind of a.
I could see where you get that from.
I mean, I know it isn't, but it almost seems like maybe it could have been.
One could make the argument that she's a proto Harley.
Yeah.
Right. Because Harley doesn't come around till 92 in the cartoon with Paul Dini. So
right.
Maybe like, I don't think we got a female clown-esque character aside from Joker's daughter in the comics before this. Like, I don't think anyone palled around with the Joker and that was like him prior to this. Sure. Let's say it.
It was Paul Dini that came up with Harley. Took inspiration from Sorkin's look to create Dr. Harleen Quinzel. So, and Sorkin, Sorkin got hired to do the voice of Harley Quinn. So
yeah, Arlene Sorkin. She was on my mom's favorite soap opera when I was growing up.
Which one was that?
Days of Our Lives.
Oh, that was my grandmother's jam too.
Yeah, it was a jam, man.
Marlena getting possessed.
Dude, everyone goes back to that. It's a classic. It's horrible, but it's memorable, man.
And then nobody remembers she got repossessed. Oh, yeah.
I don't recall that because I might have been out at that point. But every summer, I would watch Days of Our Lives. Stefano DiMera, man, the Phoenix. He would die and come back all the time.
All the time.
Yes.
Oh,
like
my
sands
goodness.
to the hourglass.
Those were the days.
So were the days of our lives. Shit's been on since like 1964. So, it's like Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Is it still on?
But it
I think
still
so.
doesn't have as many episodes as One Piece.
You're probably right.
Oh, that's weird though.
I don't think soap operas take breaks though. There's no
there's like
they're like the new every night there's something else.
Yeah, you're right. Like soap operas. When I worked with, John Shipp, he was talking because he was on Guiding Light, I believe, for a couple of years, won his daytime Emmys there. And he was talking about how, like, when you do soap operas, man, it's just a grind. Because that's why some actors are either in it for like years, decades, or they do like 2 years and they're like, I'm out. This is not what I want. Because it's like, he said it's the closest thing to having like a real job in acting.
Gross.
Yeah, that's what that was his work. That was his thought too, but a lot of people like that. A lot of actors like that kind of, not a lot, but there's a handful of them that like that security, or like people who work in production like it too, because they're easy days. You know what you're going to do. You're in, you're out, Well,
that's why the long timers in those soap operas, they're all like family because they spend so much time together every single day.
Yeah.
Like Alfred and Batman.
What'd you guys think of Michael Goff as Alfred here?
He was good.
Yeah.
Loved him.
Yeah. I kind of wish they did more with him.
We seem to be sliding into an Alfred that's like, got Secret Service background and all this other stuff. But I like the kindly old gentleman Alfred,
Right.
Yeah.
But I
With
think
with the quick wit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think JD's right. They missed an opportunity to do more between the two of them.
Because they have good chemistry.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I like this. I was looking at them like, I want more of these guys. I think there's some character moments there were kind of, I don't know what's left on the cutting room floor. I don't know if I've ever seen any deleted scenes from this movie, but like, I kind of wish we had more of that.
Yeah, they had great chemistry, even in the Taco Bell commercial when Batman's like,
God.
I'll get was that Val Kilmer? That was Val Kilmer, I think.
That was Val Kilmer, yeah.
Well, even they had good chemistry. I guess he can mesh well with anybody.
He can. I think he's right with George Clooney too. And Michael Goff is kind of one of the saving graces of those shitty films, because he's
Batman VHS. There was a commercial before the movie.
The Diet Coke one, right?
That's the one.
That's right. It's on the Batman VHS. Absolutely.
Yep. Oh man. And Ninja Turtles had a Pizza Hut commercial.
It did. I play right field. It's important to know.
You got to learn how to catch.
You got to learn how to throw.
That's why I play right field.
Way out where the lines grow.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, man.
Man, you watched a lot of Ninja Turtles, same as me.
Absolutely. Dude, okay, check this out. And we're on screen, so I can show this. I reviewed the Ninja Turtles movie on WGN Radio in Chicago. And for that, I got this commemorative silver coin because of it. Keep it on my desk. Yes, nice. It's my first experience in broadcasting. I was 10 and very annoying. This might shock you, Dave.
You were very annoying?
Yes, that I was very annoying on the radio. But yes, that was cool.
No, that doesn't shock me.
No, I didn't think it would. Yeah. But yeah, I remember the Batman VHS had, this is what, so my parents were a beta. We were a beta family growing up because I come from tech snobs, and beta is the superior format, or was the superior format, but it was dying. It was a dying thing by the late 80s. It was already, if not dead. My parents bought a VHS because Batman 89 was not coming out in beta.
No.
So we bought our first VHS player specifically to buy Batman 89. I remember 2020 did a special the week before Batman. They did like a profile news piece on the Batman movie, and I taped it, and I must have watched it 100 times that summer. I probably watched it twice a day, every day that summer.
That sounds like a collusion between the studio and Big VHS, man.
So I know you guys listening can't see this, but my boys here can. Okay, I'm going to show you. Where's my camera? Okay.
Oh, yes.
That's my Batman VHS. Look at the damage. You can tell.
That is well loved. That is a well-loved videotape, my friend.
And I got one here. Ninja Turtles, cracked as all hell.
Got that same. I got that same exact thing in the basement somewhere.
Yeah, these are still at my parents' house. I'm gonna grab them and put them in a glass case somewhere.
Yeah, see, this is something I look at with my kid, because he'll just watch stuff streaming now, and like I joke that he doesn't understand what it's like to have to wait for things. And I told him, like, back in the day, you had to wait a week to watch a show. And he's like, what? He can't get that. So he'll never know the thrill of like getting a VHS tape when it comes out, or like counting down and going to Blockbuster and like seeing that video on the shelf, or like not seeing it. And you're like, you got to wait for them to return it. Like, these are things, I sound like an old man, that the kids today will never understand.
Well, being an actual old man, I can tell you. I can tell
about silent films, aren't you?
Yeah.
When Buster Keaton was a young man,
I was in line to see Nosferatu.
I've got a voice. I got a voice for silent film and a face for radio. No, the back when VHS came out, like that caused a huge resurgence in the movies, because up until then, a movie, once it went out of the theater, that was it. It was gone.
TV, if you're lucky, like big movies and terrible movies went to TV, because the terrible things were cheap.
Well, if you were lucky, there were only 3 channels.
That's true.
You'd see movie of the week, and it'd be something from the 50s or 40s.
Godzilla. All the Japanese samurai Sentai stuff, like. Yeah.
But yeah, VHS created the importance of a back catalog, and it opened up everything. Like now they were making movies just for home video, which again we have now. That's basically the predecessor of streaming, right?
Go ahead.
No, I was saying there are movies that like were failures but found an audience. Talking about Tim Burton, The Nightmare Before Christmas was a failure, and then and they found their audience on VHS, so it actually gave new life to so many movies.
And the thing you say about back catalogs is true, because up until then there was no need for it.
No,
and if you had a bunch of if you had a bunch of cellulose that was lying around with old movies or stuff on it, they would reuse it, right?
That's why there's a lot of missing Doctor Who episodes. They got taped over.
That's one of the biggest examples. But like, there are probably movies we've never heard of and never will, because they don't exist anymore, because they had the originals and they wrote over them, or they just threw them out.
For decades, they thought the Edison Company's version of Frankenstein was lost, because there's only a few production stills. And they found it, I want to say in like 2006, they found a complete like reel in someone's attic. Like holy shit, this is a lost film. And there's like tons of movies like that have been lost to time, that people hope is just sitting in grandma and grandpa's closet or basement or something
right next to another copy of the Declaration of Independence. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's the thing about Nosferatu. Nosferatu is 21 different private collector cuts pieced together for a complete movie.
That's interesting too, because that movie's not supposed to exist, because it's a copyright violation. They completely rip off Dracula, and the Stoker estate, which at the time still had the rights, they hadn't been public domain yet, sued the shit out of Murnau to make sure that didn't happen. So like everything that you see is like, he's like Ray says, it's been put together. Like there's no like complete original master print of Nosferatu, that, because a lot of them were destroyed. Like, yeah, that's fascinating stuff.
Where was Batman?
I was about to say,
vampires, bats, same thing.
We went around. We went right all the way around.
Well, I mean, you were talking about old vampires. I thought we were talking about Alfred, but apparently we are not. So
yeah, I mean, I've got nothing else to say on this. It's like
I think it holds up better actually than I expected it to this time around.
Returns is better.
I'm looking forward to next time we talk, because I haven't seen Returns in a long time, and
pair of eyes. Turn off the fan.
No issues with the movie though, looking back on it.
I gotta be honest, Dave, I'm too nostalgic for this movie to have this movie kind of changed my life. Like this is the reason why I kind of went into creative endeavors and stuff like that, because of the way this movie made me feel. Right. Without this movie, I don't read comics. Without this movie, I'm probably not as into geek culture stuff as I am. So for me, it's got such a special place that it's hard for me. Is it flawed? Yeah, for sure. But I do firmly believe that all art should be viewed in the time it was created, right? And it shouldn't be judged on what movies are in 2021. It should be judged for what it was in 1989. And at that point, it's pretty damn cool. So I think that that's how it should be looked at. Some stuff comes off corny, but I mean, like Citizen Kane's a great movie, but some things don't come off the same. Like I don't believe in the Shea Serrano thing that no good movies existed before 2000.
So you're saying we can't watch Blazing Saddles and couch it in today?
I did not say that. In fact, I said nothing about Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles could not be done today, but it's still pretty funny. And so, no, I'll say it. Blazing Saddles is funny.
Yeah, no, it's still hysterical.
Everything Mel Brooks was.
Yeah, everything.
There's a lot of people doing reaction videos to Blazing Saddles now.
Really?
I could see that because if you grew up today, like if you're 22, right, and you've never seen Mel Brooks and how daring and controversial it was in 1974, let alone 2021, like that's stuff that you just wouldn't do today. You couldn't be done today. It was amazing. It was done back then, to be quite frank.
Yeah.
It's a gutsy movie.
I just had one question. Where did all Joker's henchmen come from in the bell tower at the end?
Paying them.
No.
Oh, who knows? Who cares?
How did they get up there was the question. Because you only see the three of them go up.
Because the bell destroyed the stairs and there was no way up. Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yeah, details.
I'm
watching a movie. I'm watching a movie about a guy who dresses like a bat and fights crime.
I know.
Stuff like that is so unimportant to me.
I know. It was just the one thing I was just like, as I was watching the movie.
Maybe
I never thought about it before,
Maybe they were already up there when he called in the chopper and said, pick me up in 10 minutes.
Sure.
Maybe they were lookouts.
Yeah, let's go with that. Makes sense.
Yeah. It's the highest point in the city. Why not?
They do kind of establish that.
There you go.
They got to keep an eye out for the bat plane.
The bat plane.
The bat wing. That's what the toy was called. Bat wing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm calling it the bat plane.
That's like one of the most iconic shots ever. That was so cool in 1989. It's still pretty cool when he flies that bat wing right up to the moon.
Yep.
Makes the bat symbol. There's no reason for it other than it looked cool.
Well, and then there was the Batmobile, which was
Batmobile. It's still my favorite Batmobile. I love that Corvette.
Well, it was a tank. It was built. It looked like a tank, and it's
Corvette.
I mean, one of the best Batmobiles. So until, in my opinion, the Tumbler, because that is the kind of machine. Cool. That's the kind of machine you'd need as Batman to get over obstacles. That the Batman '89 Batmobile, that wasn't getting over anything larger than smaller than a pebble. Like
that's designed for speed, man. Like I said, it's Corvette. It's meant to take turns.
$80,000. $80,000. You can get a street-ready Batmobile from '89. Just saying.
God, if I had the disposable income, I would waste it on something that's stupid, and my wife would be so pissed at me.
Except that grappling hook for getting around tight corners doesn't work because MythBusters actually did that, and it's just there's too much torque.
Yeah, neither does climbing up buildings in Batman Forever. Try to disprove that.
Again, it's a movie about a man who dresses like a bat and punches a clown. I'm good.
All right. I think that's enough on this topic.
Wait. One more question. Did you prefer the dark, gritty Gotham City, or did you like the Schumacher neon lights, big statues, everything?
Dark, gritty.
This is a serious question.
Very serious.
I way prefer the Tim Burton, Anton first design.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
That's the right tone for Batman.
Yes. That art. It's an Art Deco nightmare. Was what they were going for.
I've never met one person that loved the neon look with the giant statues. And
I only can think of one.
Ooh,
Joel Schumacher.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Well, on that note, let's wrap things up. Let's go around and get some recommendations for our audience. And Ray, you can plug the podcast one more time. So, Ray, start with you.
Well, again, you can catch me on any podcasting app that's out there, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you need, it's out there. You can catch me on Twitter at Gorilla Brain Pod, Instagram at Gorilla Brain Podcast. You can catch me on Twitch, 8-Bit Ray, and what else did I say? Oh, yeah, YouTube, 8-Bit Ray. That's another fun one. And then, so my recommendation this week is actually go back and play the original Resident Evil game, okay? It is so bad. The voice acting is so bad and campy that it should be its own movie, and I absolutely adore it. And I'll play through the game just to hear the dumb dialogue and the bad voice acting, and it just makes my day. So if you're ever having a bad day, just go on YouTube and just look up Resident Evil voice acting and just have yourself a good day.
Okay, John.
Well, don't get into One Piece if you're going to do some anime. God, I have been so bad at having anything to actually. This is the other side of being an introvert. Is I really don't have a really interesting life to, give me ideas for suggestions for people.
John recommends being interesting.
Yeah.
Here, John. Here's your recommendation: Mountain Dew Ginger Snapped.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I do have. Thanks for you gave me an idea. If they re-released Ecto Cooler for Ghostbusters, so if you can still go out and find any, go get it now.
Oh, that's cool.
All right.
Was that the High C? Was that High C?
Yep.
That was High C. Yes.
Yep.
Ginger Snaps was a fun little horror movie of the early 2000s.
Ginger Dead Man was another fun.
Ginger Dead Man was also fun. Gary was with the insanity of Gary Busey. I will recommend the first run on New Teen Titans with featuring the work of Marv Wolfman and the great George Perez. This is a book that really helped redefine DC in the modern era of comics and was the best thing DC was doing at the time. It rivaled the X-Men. So New Teen Titans is a good book.
There was a crossover with the X-Men there.
There was a crossover with the X-Men, written by Chris Claremont, drawn by Walt Simonson. It's freaking fantastic. It's my opinion, the best of the DC Marvel crossover books. I love it. Darkseid gets the Phoenix Force. It's super awesome. It's so awesome. Yes. Great call, Ray. Yeah, read New Teen Titans. And then New Teen Titans, man. It's good stuff.
All right, cool. Well, I will recommend that you go to our website, superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week. Links to our social media at the top of the page. Oh my God. And comic book reviews by our good friend D Square. I will also recommend that you don't get COVID because your brain shuts down. But
I've had it for years.
The real recommendation is to make sure you watch Batman Returns, because that's what we'll be talking about on next week's podcast.
Best of the best.
So until then, as always, thanks for listening. Don't let you keep caught in the door. Have a good week.